All right, history appears not to be repeating. Has crisis been averted? Bullish price action on Bitcoin right now. Let's have a look and understand what's happening. So, the bullish case for Bitcoin is we have sentiment has reset and the system has deleveraged. The business cycle is beginning to prop up Bitcoin, and we remain undervalued to the stock to flow ratio, stock to flow model, which this cycle is going to validate or invalidate the stock to flow model. So let's see what's happening. Our bearish case is the 4-year cycle is not broken, and so far that seems to be intact. We are following the 2021-22 bear market almost perfectly, and we're going to show the slight deviation that is giving me this bullish vibe now. And we've got the business cycle may not be coming, and this is all just a bit of a bull trap. We'll see. Here we have the 2025-2026 comparison, current state versus the 2021-2022 bear market. And we can see that we broke below the 100-week moving average in yellow here, just like clockwork we did, where we bounced not far above it for a while, like we did here. And then we had a bit of a bull trap that we picked up both times. And then we proceeded to fall below the 100-week moving week average with very rapid pace once it was truly broken, and we had a bit of a capitulation here just like we had here, and we've been cruising along just like 2022 right here, with this one little exception now, which is Mangosteen framework has flagged bullish at the low here, and at the same time we have broken out of this green line, this resistance band, and tested it, and we're testing it for support. This is really interesting. So what I did is when my members went down and we were bearish, I called out and said, hey, look, this pattern is repeating again. I'm seeing this going down. However, we have these two lines here, and if we break below this one and we test and confirm for support, then I'm pretty sure that we're going to go down, and we're going to have another capitulation going below the green bands like we see here in 2021, 2022. Or the alternative is we come up and we pop up against this green line and we test it and confirm it for support, in which case that might mean crisis averted. And what we're doing right now is testing this for support. So I'm very, very curious to see if we hold the support line, which to me would validate this bull flag, which we crossed really early. So obviously I was a little bit unsure about this flag when it posted. I told my membership, hey guys, I would be careful about this one because of this possibility of going up. But if we do come up and we test for support and confirm that support, that certainly validates this flag, and the 4-year cycle has potentially broken, and we're going into a bull market. So exciting times ahead. The next 24 to 48 hours are going to be absolutely critical to seeing if we test and confirm the support, in which case I'm really, really excited about what the future could hold. Or we come down again and we fall back into the channel for probably only another week or two before we have our next major capitulation event. So exciting times. What we can see here is obviously when we had that bearish flag post up in late January, we came down, we had our capitulation event here, and the open interest collapsed, and we've had open interest decline and come down while sentiment was at its absolute lows. I think the fear and greed index went into single digits, which to me is a really good sign of a sentiment resetting. And now we've had this recent pump up, which started here. So we've had some strong derivatives buying, and this is indicative of some bullish activity, with some people taking a little bit of profit right now. So we have had open interest come down, form a low, sentiment reset, and we are back on the climb. So that is a positive sign as well. As always, everyone has explored the ISM Purchasing Managers Index and its correlation to the current Bitcoin price action. And what we've had is it go positive above the 50 mark for the previous 2 months, which means that the business cycle is now sitting on the favorable side of Bitcoin, and that might be giving it some boost to come up. The only thing that I am very, very curious about is this remains on the cautious side. And the reason I believe it to be still cautious is that employment remains below 50 as well as inventory. So what we're seeing is that manufacturers are ramping up production. They see new orders. They have supply deliveries coming in, which are all very positive. Production is up, but they're hedging their bets. They're not storing excess inventory, and they're not hiring aggressively to boost that production to make things a sustainable move. And so there's still some caution in this expansion, but maybe it is helping Bitcoin a little bit. The other things I'm looking at is this is my big fancy macro dashboard, which I've managed to sit down and consolidate properly, and I'm sharing with you guys for the first time this video, is these favorable attributes of the macro cycle. So at the moment, one aspect of it is that we have the balance sheet turning positive. We have some balance sheet expansion potentially going to rock off. QT is sort of officially ending, which is great. M2 continues to be expansionary, which is great. The ISM is obviously positive, like we discussed. But the thing that does register a bit concerning is that we do have a strong gold price with a flat copper price. Now, gold is a good measure of monetary and financialization in the economy, and then copper is a good proxy for industrialization, right? So at the moment, we don't have a strong production or industrial. We've had this ramp up in price recently, which has helped subdue, but we have this high gold to copper ratio, which is indicative of a bit more conservatism or a bit more fear in the market. And that's why we probably haven't seen this sort of hiring that we have traditionally seen in the market. While also interest rates maintain their positive delta. This is the 2 and 10-year rate, showing that there's positive drive there, which is indicative of future inflation, which is indicative of a stimulated economy. So generally good signs. The only one I'm sort of looking out for is this gold, which remains elevated. A bit of Middle Eastern conflict is probably good for that as well, to keep it propped up. But overall, this is a generally positive macro look with a softening Dixie or US dollar index, which is also helping the price of Bitcoin. So good stuff. So how is the Mangosteen Microstrategy MSTY winter rebalancing approach going? It's going quite well. What we have here is the MSTY winter prices in green and blue. So green is MSTY and blue is winter. And what we can see is with the reasonably positive price action in Bitcoin we've had MSTY register early. We had MSTY register on the 25th of February, which is great. And at the same time, MSTY has maintained its price, while winter has had a bit of a tumble in reflection to that bullish activity on Bitcoin's price. And obviously, our tool has continued to serve us really well. So that's great. If you're interested in the Mangosteen tools, Mangosteen Private is the way to access them. I currently am providing a 2-year license, which is essentially a 50% discount on the current price, because it will eventually move to a 1-year license. You can access it at my website, mangosteen.global, and I have a 14-day no questions asked refund policy. So if you buy it and you figure out it's not really going to work for you, no problem at all. Send me an email and I will refund you. And flick me through an email at hello@mangosteen.global. If you want to understand more, I'm happy to accept Bitcoin as well for a 5% discount. So things are good. It is a really, really powerful platform. New products are going to be released over the next coming year as well that I'm really excited about. So stay tuned. And disclaimer, this channel does not provide financial advice or any advice of any kind. Everything is for general information or entertainment purposes only. It does not consider your personal objectives, financial situations, or needs. Reference to any financial products are factual only and do not constitute recommendations. You must do your own research. Any investment or trading decisions you make are entirely your own. This is entertainment only. You are listening to a random Mangosteen on the internet.